President Obama's State of the Union wasn't just a plea for lawmakers to make a change. He's making one of his own.
He plans to issue an executive order raising the federal minimum wage to at least $10.10 an hour for Americans working on new government contracts. In our area, that means future pay raises for contractors at Fort McCoy.
A spokesperson for the installation says it won't change anything for existing contracts, and the increases will most likely be seen by the janitorial and food services staff when they renegotiate contracts.
Those bigger paychecks will likely result in bigger bills for the government.
The contractor is going to pass that requirement on to the government. So, the government's requiring that contractor to pay that employee $10.10 an hour, so it's going to cost that contractor more. Well, he's just going to charge the government more.
The president and fellow Democrats are calling for an overall raise to the federal minimum wage. Republicans say that could cause job loss and hurt small businesses.
Now, here in La Crosse, we have lots of small businesses, and they may feel the most burden when it comes to any wage increase.
News 8's Kyle Dimke is here with local reaction. Kyle?
Many in La Crosse's downtown are small businesses, and we got mixed reviews as to how much each place would be affected. Whether the feeling was good or bad, not everyone believes this is the solution.
James Aller has run Pearl Street Books in downtown La Crosse for the past 12 and a half years. He would support a hike to the minimum wage.
Well, it would be an increase for some of my newer and part-time employees, but I think it's probably the right thing to do because people need to afford what things cost.
Aller says the increase is going to help people who are struggling now.
And, some of these corporations and big chain stores where the owners are billionaires, it's ridiculous that their employees have to be on food stamps and get free medical care at the emergency room because they can't afford to pay what should be our right as human beings to have.
But some experts don't think raising the minimum wage a couple bucks is going to solve America's problems.
I think the most serious repercussion of a rise in minimum wage is that it brings around an increase in unemployment.
Professor Cindy Munson from Western Tech says that businesses would likely have to charge more to make up for those wages.
Well, it would affect businesses because it would raise their cost of doing business.
And she says many of our local businesses would have to make cuts to their staff as well.
I think they would look at how few employees they can get along without.
However, not all businesses would be forced to make those kind of changes. Dave's Guitar Shop in La Crosse, it would pretty much be business as usual, mostly because a majority of their employees already make more than $10 an hour.
Us personally, it wouldn't take too much of a toll on us. We kind of, like I said, we have a long-term view with our employees.
If the president's call for a minimum wage increase sounds familiar, you're right. In last year's State of the Union, he asked for it to go up to $9 an hour. That stalled in the House.
Thank you, Kyle. Right now, Minnesota is looking at raising its minimum wage from $6.15 to $9.50 an hour.